Picture yourself in a 14th century European village, the moon barely piercing the inky night as you step onto a dark, rutted path, your heart pounding with every rustle in the shadows. It's around 1350, and walking alone at night is a gamble with fate. Bandits lurk, wolves prowl, and unseen hazards threaten to trip or trap you. The air is thick with the chill of fear, the scent of damp earth, and the distant howl of danger, transforming familiar paths into a gauntlet of risk. This is the harrowing truth of nighttime travel in medieval Europe, where every step tests courage against the perils of darkness. Join us as we venture into this shadowy world, uncovering the threats that made the night so treacherous. Share where you're reading from and what time it is. Drop a comment to connect with fellow history explorers. If this tale of medieval danger grips you, a like or share keeps these stories alive. Now brace for a journey through the night where the brave or desperate walked alone, their steps a defiance of the dark's deadly embrace. The last rays of the 14th century European sun fade beyond the horizon, plunging the village into a shroud of darkness, the air heavy with the chill of night. It's around 1350, and you stand at the edge of your wattle and daub hut, the faint glow of a hearth fire behind you, clutching a staff as you prepare to venture onto a dirt path swallowed by shadows. As a peasant, merchant, or wayfarer, walking alone at night is a rare and perilous act, driven by desperation, duty, or defiance. The world transforms under the moon's weak light, familiar paths turning treacherous, every sound, a rustling leaf, a distant howl spiking your pulse. The scent of damp earth mixes with the faint musk of livestock, but the night hides dangers, bandits waiting in ambush, wolves stalking the forest's edge, and unseen ruts ready to twist an ankle. This opening segment immerses you in the sensory shift from day to night, introducing the myriad threats that make walking alone a test of courage, setting the stage for a journey through a medieval world where darkness was a formidable foe. Nighttime travel is rare, as most huddle by hearths or in taverns, the day's labor done, the village or town settling into uneasy quiet. The streets, bustling with carts and voices by day, now lie silent, save for the occasional creak of a shutter or the bark of a stray dog. As a peasant, your walks are usually confined to daylight, fields a mile away, a 20-minute trek, or a market 2 miles off, an hour's round trip. But necessity, a sick kin needing a healer, a message to deliver, or a forbidden errand might force you out, your steps hesitant on a path you know by heart but can barely see. Merchants, avoiding tolls or bandits, sometimes travel at night, their packs heavy with cloth or coin, each step a gamble against robbery. Wayfarers, caught far from shelter, have no choice, their journey stretching into the dark, a 10-mile walk taking 5 hours under the stars. The sensory shift from day to night is stark, heightening every fear. By day, the air carries the scent of grass or market stalls, the path alive with the crunch of gravel or the chatter of passers-by. At night, the air grows colder, laced with the damp of dew or the faint smoke of distant fires, its chill seeping through your woolen tunic or cloak. Sounds sharpen, a twig snapping, an owl's hoot, or the wind rustling through trees, each a potential threat, your ears straining to distinguish friend from foe. The path, visible in daylight, vanishes into shadow, its ruts and stones hidden, forcing you to feel your way with a staff or outstretched hand. Your eyes, useless in the moonless dark, catch only vague shapes, making every step a leap of faith, your heart racing as you navigate the unseen. Bandits are a primary danger, their ambushes thriving in the night's cover. Rural paths like those between villages 5 miles apart are prime hunting grounds, their isolation a lure for thieves. A lone walker carrying even a sack of grain or a few coins is an easy target, your staff no match for a knife or club. You've heard tales of travelers robbed and left bleeding, their goods stolen, their bodies unburied by the road. A 5-mile walk, normally 2 hours in daylight, stretches to 3 at night, your pace slowed to avoid detection, your eyes darting to shadows. In towns, alleys harbor cut-purses, their footsteps silent as they trail you, waiting for a dark corner. A half-mile walk through town, 10 minutes by day, takes 20 in the dark, your steps cautious, your hand on a hidden dagger. Winters, their howls chilling your blood as you walk a lonely path. A 10-mile trek to a neighboring village, 5 hours in daylight, might take 6 at night, your pace halting at every rustle, your staff raised against glowing eyes. Boars foraging in woods can charge from the dark, their tusks a deadly threat, forcing you to climb a tree or freeze in place. Stray dogs, scavenging in towns, turn feral at night, their snarls a warning as you pass a dark alley. These creatures, hidden by day, rule the night, making a 2-mile walk to a healer's hut an hour-long ordeal, your heart pounding with every distant growl. The terrain, treacherous even in daylight, becomes a nightmare at night. Dirt paths, rutted by carts, hide roots or stones that trip you, a 1-mile walk stretching to 30 minutes as you probe the ground with your staff. Rivers, unbridged and swollen by rain, are invisible in the dark, their banks slick, a crossing adding 15 minutes or a fall into icy water. Hills, common in regions like the Cotswolds or Tuscany, are harder to climb without light, a mile taking 40 minutes as you stumble on loose rocks. In towns, narrow streets slick with mud or refuse are deadly, a half-mile walk to a tavern taking 20 minutes as you avoid puddles or broken cobbles. You've twisted an ankle in the dark, the pain sharp, the journey halted until dawn. Weather amplifies the night's dangers, its unpredictability a constant threat. Rain, frequent in northern Europe, turns paths into sludge, a 3-mile walk to a village taking 2 hours as you slip in the mire. Fog rolling in from rivers blinds you, a 1-mile trek to a mill stretching to an hour as you lose the path, your hands groping for landmarks. Winter's cold numbs your fingers, making your staff hard to grip, a 2-mile walk to a church taking 90 minutes as you shuffle on icy ground. Summer's warmth offers little relief, the air heavy with damp, mosquitoes buzzing, slowing your pace. You've sheltered under a tree, the night's chill seeping into your bones, your journey paused until the weather clears. The feudal order heightens the risk, its rules limiting who walks at night. As a peasant, you're bound to the Lord's land. Nighttime travel forbidden without permission. A 5-mile walk to a market risking a fine or flogging if caught. Merchants, with more freedom, still face tolls or suspicion, their nighttime walks to avoid bandits marked as sneaky, drawing the bailiff's eye. Wayfarers, like messengers or fugitives, walk at night out of necessity, their steps silent to avoid patrols. A 10-mile journey taking 6 hours to dodge the Lord's men. The wealthy, riding horses by day, rarely venture out, their manners safe, while you, a commoner, face the night's perils alone, your status a chain that binds you to danger. The social stigma of nighttime walking adds another layer of risk. Night is for rogues or outcasts, thieves, prostitutes, or those fleeing justice, making any lone walker suspect. A peasant walking to a healer a mile away in 30 minutes might be stopped by a watchman, your honest purpose questioned, your sack searched. Women, rarely abroad at night, face harsh judgment, their presence deemed improper. A 2-mile trek to a kin's hut taking an hour under scrutiny's weight. Even merchants with legitimate cause are eyed warily, their nighttime walks hinting at smuggling or deceit. You felt the village's gaze, your steps hurried to avoid whispers, your heart heavy with the need to justify your journey. The sensory world of the night is a vivid assault, amplifying every fear. The air smells of damp earth and pine, tinged with the faint rot of a nearby stream. Sounds are sharp, the hoot of an owl, the crunch of your shoes, the distant bark of a dog. Each a potential threat, your ears straining. Your cloak, heavy with dew, chafes your shoulders, your hands gripping a staff, their skin cracked from cold. The path, invisible, feels uneven, its mud or stones jarring your feet, each step a test of balance. Hunger gnaws, your day's bread gone, the night's chill sapping your strength. The sky, starlit or clouded, offers little light, the moon's glow a faint guide, its absence plunging you into blindness. The fragility of nighttime travel is stark, each walk a gamble with life. A bandit's knife, a wolf's jaws, or a hidden rut can end you. Your body left by the road, your kin unaware. You've heard of travelers lost to the dark, their goods stolen, their graves unmarked. Illness, a chill from rain, a fever from a cut, strikes without warning, with no healer nearby. Yet necessity drives you, your steps a defiance of fear, your heart set on the journey's end. The village or town, silent under the stars, waits for your return, its people bound by the same fears, their lives shaped by the night's dangers. The night deepens, and you press on, the path a shadow under your feet, the village's faint lights a distant hope. The perils of walking alone, bandits, animals, terrain, make each step a test, the sensory shift from day to night a cloak of fear. This world, where darkness rules, demands courage. Your walk's a rare act of necessity or defiance. For now you move forward, the air cold, the path treacherous, your life a measure of steps in a world where the night's dangers are treacherous even in daylight becomes a nightmare at night. Dirt paths, rutted by carts, hide roots or stones that trip you, a 1-mile walk stretching to 30 minutes as you probe the ground with your staff. Rivers, unbridged and swollen by rain, are invisible in the dark, their banks slick, a crossing adding 15 minutes or a fall into icy water. Hills, common in regions like the Cotswolds or Tuscany, are harder to climb without light, a mile taking 40 minutes as you stumble on loose rocks. In towns, narrow streets slick with mud or refuse are deadly, a half-mile walk to a tavern taking 20 minutes as you avoid puddles or broken cobbles. You've twisted an ankle in the dark, the pain sharp, the journey halted until dawn. Weather amplifies the night's dangers, its unpredictability a constant threat. Rain, frequent in northern Europe, turns paths into sludge, a 3-mile walk to a village taking 2 hours as you slip in the mire. Fog rolling in from rivers blinds you, a 1-mile trek to a mill stretching to an hour as you lose the path, your hands groping for landmarks. Winter's cold numbs your fingers, making your staff hard to grip, a 2-mile walk to a church taking 90 minutes as you shuffle on icy ground. Summer's warmth offers little relief, the air heavy with damp, mosquitoes buzzing, slowing your pace. You've sheltered under a tree, the night's chill seeping into your bones, your journey paused until the weather clears. The feudal order heightens the risk, its rules limiting who walks at night. As a peasant, you're bound to the Lord's land, nighttime travel forbidden without permission, a 5-mile walk to a market risking a fine or flogging if caught. Merchants, with more freedom, still face tolls or suspicion, their nighttime walks to avoid bandits marked as sneaky, drawing the bailiff's eye. Wayfarers, like messengers or fugitives, walk at night out of necessity, their steps silent to avoid patrols. A 10-mile journey taking 6 hours to dodge the Lord's men. The wealthy, riding horses by day, rarely venture out, their manners safe, while you, a commoner, face the night's perils alone, your status a chain that binds you to danger. The social stigma of nighttime walking adds another layer of risk. Night is for rogues or outcasts, thieves, prostitutes, or those fleeing justice, making any lone walker suspect. A peasant walking to a healer a mile away in 30 minutes might be stopped by a watchman, your honest purpose questioned, your sack searched. Women, rarely abroad at night, face harsh judgment, their presence deemed improper, a 2-mile trek to a kin's hut taking an hour under scrutiny's weight. Even merchants with legitimate cause are eyed warily, their nighttime walks hinting at smuggling or deceit. You felt the village's gaze, your steps hurried to avoid whispers, your heart heavy with the need to justify your journey. The sensory world of the night is a vivid assault, amplifying every fear. The air smells of damp earth and pine, tinged with the faint rot of a nearby stream. Sounds are sharp. The hoot of an owl, the crunch of your shoes, the distant bark of a dog. Each a potential threat, your ears straining. Your cloak, heavy with dew, chafes your shoulders, your hands gripping a staff, their skin cracked from cold. The path, invisible, feels uneven, its mud or stones jarring your feet, each step a test of balance. Hunger gnaws, your day's bread gone, the night's chill sapping your strength. The sky, starlit or clouded, offers little light, the moon's glow a faint guide, its absence plunging you into blindness. The fragility of nighttime travel is stark, each walk a gamble with life. A bandit's knife, a wolf's jaws, or a hidden rut can end you. Your body left by the road, your kin unaware. You've heard of travelers lost to the dark, their goods stolen, their graves unmarked. Illness, a chill from rain, a fever from a cut, strikes without warning, with no healer nearby. Yet necessity drives you, your steps a defiance of fear, your heart set on the journey's end. The village or town, silent under the stars, waits for your return, its people bound by the same fears, their lives shaped by the night's dangers. The night deepens, and you press on, the path a shadow under your feet, the village's faint lights a distant hope. The perils of walking alone, bandits, animals, terrain, make each step a test, the sensory shift from day to night a cloak of fear. This world, where darkness rules, demands courage. Your walk's a rare act of necessity or defiance. For now, you move forward, the air cold, the path treacherous, your life a measure of steps in a world where the night's dangers are as real as the ground beneath you. The moon hangs low over the 14th century European countryside, its pale light barely illuminating the winding dirt path you tread, your staff clutched tightly as the village's faint glow fades behind you. It's around 1350, and as a peasant, merchant, or wayfarer, you've ventured into the night's embrace, driven by urgent need, a healer's visit, a clandestine errand, or a desperate flight, fully aware of the perils that lurk in the darkness introduced earlier. The night's sensory shift, with its chilling air and sharpened sounds, now gives way to specific threats. Human predators like bandits and thieves, and wild animals like wolves or boars, emboldened by the absence of light. The path, rutted and barely visible, carries the scent of damp moss and distant livestock, but each rustle or snap in the shadows spikes your pulse. This segment delves into the human and animal dangers that make walking alone at night a harrowing gamble, exploring how the lack of light amplifies these risks and the meager defenses you wield, painting a world where every step is a brush with mortal peril. Bandits are the most feared human threat, their ambushes thriving in the night's cover. Rural paths, winding through forests or fields 5 miles from a village, are their domain, the darkness hiding their approach. As a peasant carrying a sack of grain or a few eggs, you're a target, your staff a feeble defense against a knife or cudgel. A 3-mile walk to a neighboring hamlet, normally an hour in daylight, stretches to 2 at night, your pace slowed to avoid detection, your eyes scanning the trees for movement. You've heard tales of travelers stripped of goods and left bloodied, their cries unheard in the night's silence. Merchants with packs of cloth or coin are prime prey, their 10-mile treks to market towns taking 5 hours by day, stretching to 7 as they skirt known bandit haunts, their steps silent, their hearts racing. Thieves in towns are subtler but no less dangerous, lurking in narrow alleys where torchlight barely reaches. A half-mile walk through a town's streets, 10 minutes by day, takes 20 at night, your steps cautious to avoid cut-purses hiding in doorways. These rogues, often desperate townsfolk, target lone walkers, a servant with a master's message or a peddler with a day's earnings. You clutch a hidden dagger, its blade dull but better than nothing, knowing a thief's strike is swift, a purse or sack gone before you can react. You've seen victims stagger into taverns, their cloaks torn, their faces pale, their stories a warning to avoid certain alleys after dusk. The lack of light, with only a flickering torch or moon to guide you, blinds you to their approach, each shadow a potential threat. Outlaws banished from villages or towns add another layer of danger, their desperation making them reckless. Living in forests or abandoned huts, they prey on travelers, their attacks brutal, often for survival rather than profit. A 5-mile walk to a healer's hut, 2 hours by day, takes 3 at night, your path veering from wooded edges where outlaws lurk. You've heard of entire families robbed, their goods taken, their bodies left in ditches, the night hiding the crime. As a wayfarer, perhaps a fugitive yourself, you're doubly wary, your steps muffled to avoid drawing their attention, your staff ready to swing. The darkness, swallowing landmarks, makes every path a maze, your sense of direction faltering, your fear of an outlaw's ambush ever present. Wolves, though rare, are a chilling animal threat, their presence felt in winter when hunger drives them closer to villages. On a lonely path, a 10-mile trek to a distant hamlet 5 hours by day stretches to 6 at night, your pace halting at every howl or glint of eyes in the dark. A wolf pack, drawn by the scent of your food or weakness, can circle silently, their attack sudden and deadly. You carry a staff or knife, but against a pack, they're little help, your only hope to climb a tree or shout to scare them off. You've heard of travelers torn apart, their remains found at dawn, a grim reminder of the forest's dangers. The night's darkness hides their tracks, making every rustle a potential attack, your heart pounding as you press forward. Boars foraging in woods are another nighttime menace, their bulk and tusks a threat to any lone walker. A 2-mile walk to a neighbor's hut, 40 minutes by day, takes an hour at night, your steps cautious to avoid startling a boar in the underbrush. Their charge is swift, their tusks capable of goring a leg, leaving you bleeding and stranded. You've seen hunters limp back, their cloaks torn, their wounds festering, their tails a warning to skirt wooded paths after dusk. Blade or a wolf's jaws. A knife, tucked in your belt, is more common. Its blade dull from use, useful for cutting rope or food, but little else in a fight. You've practiced swinging it, your arm untrained, your hope to intimidate rather than kill. Merchants might carry a short sword, its weight a burden on a 10-mile trek, but even they rely on speed or cunning, not combat. Shouting for help is futile on rural paths, the nearest village too far, but in towns it might rouse a watchman, though their aid is slow and often bribed. Your best defense is avoidance, sticking to open paths, traveling in moonlight, or pausing at every sound. The feudal system heightens these dangers, its structure leaving you vulnerable. Lords, safe in manners, care little for nighttime patrols, their men guarding castles, not paths. Watchmen in towns, poorly paid and often corrupt, patrol main streets but ignore alleys, leaving a half-mile walk to a tavern a gauntlet of risk. Peasants, bound to the land, face punishment for nighttime travel without leave, a 2-mile errand to a healer risking a fine or worse. Merchants, with more freedom, are still targets, their goods a lure, their nighttime walks marked as suspicious. You've evaded a watchman's lantern, your steps silent, your heart heavy with the knowledge that protection belongs to the wealthy, not you. The sensory world of the night is a vivid assault, each danger tied to a sound or scent. The air smells of damp earth and pine, tinged with the faint rot of a nearby ditch. Sounds are sharp, the snap of a twig, the howl of a wolf, the scuffle of a thief's boots. Each a warning, your ears straining. Your cloak, heavy with dew, chafes your shoulders, your hands gripping a staff, their skin cracked from cold. The path, invisible, feels uneven, its mud or stones jarring your feet, each step a test. Hunger gnaws, your bread gone, the night's chill sapping your strength. The sky, clouded or starlit, offers little light, each shadow a hiding place for danger, each breeze carrying the scent of threat or safety. The fragility of nighttime travel is stark, each walk a brush with death. A bandit's blow, a boar's charge, or a dog's bite can end you, your body left in the dark, your kin unaware. You've heard of travelers lost, their goods stolen, their graves unmarked. Illness, a chill from cold, a fever from a wound, strikes swiftly with no healer on a lonely path, yet necessity drives you, your steps a defiance of fear, your heart set on your goal. The village or town, silent under the stars, waits, its people bound by the same dangers, their lives shaped by the night's threats. The night presses on, and you move forward, the path a shadow, the village's lights a faint hope. The human and animal dangers, bandits, thieves, wolves, boars, make each step a gamble, the lack of light a cloak that hides their approach. Your meager defenses, a staff or knife, are all you have, your courage the true shield. For now, you walk, the air cold, the path treacherous, your life a measure of steps in a world where the night's threats are as real as the ground beneath you. The midnight air wraps tightly around you, its chill seeping through your worn cloak as you tread a barely discernible path through the 14th century European countryside. It's around 1350, and as a peasant, merchant, or wayfarer, you've braved the night's human and animal threats, bandits lurking in shadows, wolves prowling the woods, driven by urgent need, as explored in the perilous encounters that define nighttime travel. Now the path itself becomes your adversary, its ruts and stones hidden by darkness, compounded by environmental hazards like fog, cold, or sudden rain. The faint scent of wet pine and distant wood smoke fills your lungs, but each step is a gamble, the ground uneven, the night's elements conspiring to slow or strand you. This segment delves into the terrain and environmental challenges of walking alone at night, examining how unseen obstacles and weather amplify the danger, turning a familiar journey into a treacherous ordeal where injury, disorientation, or exposure threaten your survival. The terrain, already unforgiving by day, transforms into a maze of hazards at night. Rural paths winding through fields or forests are dirt tracks scarred by cartwheels and hooves, their surfaces a patchwork of mud, roots, and loose stones. A 1-mile walk to a neighbour's hut, 20 minutes in daylight, stretches to 40 at night, your staff probing for ruts that could twist an ankle. In darkness, these ruts, deepened by rain or oxen, are invisible, forcing you to shuffle cautiously, your pace halved to 1 mile an hour. Forests, thick with oak or ash, hide brambles that snag your cloak, their undergrowth concealing holes that can sprain or break a leg. A 3-mile trek to a village, an hour by day, takes 2.5 hours at night, your steps halting as you navigate unseen obstacles, your heart pounding at every stumble. In towns, narrow alleys are no kinder, their surfaces slick with mud, refuse, or spilled ale from taverns. A 1/2-mile walk to a healer's shop, 10 minutes in daylight, takes 20 at night, your clogs slipping on greasy cobbles or tripping on broken pottery. The streets, hemmed by timber houses, block what little moonlight there is, plunging you into near total darkness. You feel your way along walls, their rough plaster scraping your hands, each corner a potential trap where debris or a hidden step waits. Even rare cobblestone paths found in wealthier quarters are uneven, their gaps catching your toes, slowing a 1/4-mile walk to 15 minutes. You've stumbled in these alleys, your knee bruised, your goods dropped, the night's blindness a constant foe. Rivers and streams common across the landscape are deadly at night, their banks invisible, their currents swift. By day, a shallow ford a 1/2 mile away takes 10 minutes to cross, but at night, without light to judge depth, you wade cautiously, the icy water numbing your legs, adding 15 minutes to feel for rocks. A misstep can sweep you downstream, your cloak dragging you under, your cries lost in the dark. Unbridged rivers, frequent in rural areas, force you to find a ford or turn back, a 1-mile detour adding 30 minutes or more. You've clung to a branch, the current tugging, your heart racing as you struggle to shore, knowing a fall could mean death in the night's cold embrace. Hills, scattered across regions like the Yorkshire Dales or the Alps foothills, are a grueling challenge, their slopes treacherous without light. A 1-mile climb, 25 minutes by day, takes 40 at night, your staff digging into loose gravel, your breath short as you grope for footing. Downhills are worse, the darkness hiding stones that roll underfoot, a single mile stretching to an hour as you inch along to avoid a fall. You've slipped on a slope, your hands scraped, your sack of grain spilled, the night's silence mocking your pain. These hills, familiar by day, become alien at night, their contours a puzzle you solve with every cautious step. Fog is a relentless environmental hazard, rolling in from rivers or marshes, blinding you to the path. A 2-mile walk to a mill, 40 minutes in clear daylight, takes 90 at night in fog, your world reduced to a grey haze where landmarks vanish. You pause often, your staff tapping for a tree or stone, your sense of direction faltering. You've wandered off a path, the fog muffling sounds, your shouts for help swallowed, a 1-mile trek stretching to an hour as you circle back to find the trail. The damp air clings to your cloak, its weight slowing you, your lungs heavy with mist, each step a fight against disorientation. Rain, frequent in northern Europe, turns paths into rivers of mud, amplifying the night's peril. A 3-mile walk to a village an hour by day takes 2 hours in rain-soaked darkness, the mud sucking at your shoes, each step a struggle to free your foot. The path, already rutted, becomes a quagmire, hiding puddles that soak your legs, slowing you to 1 mile an hour. You've slipped in the mire, your hands sinking into cold sludge, your goods sodden and ruined. The rain's chill seeps into your bones, your cloak no shield. The night's cold, threatening fever, or worse if you don't find shelter. A sudden downpour can strand you, a 1-mile trek halted as you huddle under a tree, waiting for dawn. Winter's cold is a deadly foe, the night's frost turning paths slick with ice. A 1-mile walk to a church, 20 minutes by day, takes 40 at night, your feet slipping on frozen ruts, your staff useless on ice. The cold numbs your hands, making it hard to grip a torch or knife, your breath visible in the frigid air. You've wrapped rags around your fingers, their thin protection failing, your steps slow to avoid a fall that could break a bone. A 2-mile trek to a healer an hour in daylight takes 2 in winter's dark, the cold sapping your strength, your body shivering, the risk of freezing a constant threat if you're caught far from a hearth. Summer's warmth brings its own hazards, the night's humidity breeding mosquitoes that swarm your face, their bites itching and festering. A 2-mile walk to a neighbor's hut, 40 minutes by day, takes an hour at night, your hands swatting insects, your pace slowed by their relentless buzz. The air, heavy with damp, makes breathing labored, your tunic soaked with sweat, adding weight to every step. You've scratched bites until they bled, the risk of infection high without clean water or herbs. The night's stillness, broken by cricket chirps or distant howls, offers no relief. Each sound a reminder of other dangers. Your journey stretched by the need to pause and fend off pests. Nighttime walking was rare, reserved for those driven by desperation or duty, as the medieval world viewed the dark as a realm of sin and suspicion. By day, your walks to fields a mile away in 20 minutes or a market 3 miles off in an hour were accepted, tied to work or trade. At night, the same journeys drew scrutiny, marking you as deviant or reckless. Peasants, bound to the Lord's land, needed permission to leave their village, and a nighttime trek, a 2-mile errand to a healer in 40 minutes, was forbidden without a bailiff's leave, risking a fine or lash. Merchants with more freedom walked at night to avoid tolls or bandits, their 5-mile trek to a town taking 2 hours, but their stealthy movements sparked whispers of smuggling. Wayfarers, messengers, pilgrims or fugitives had no choice, their 10-mile journeys stretching to 5 hours in the dark, each step shadowed by the threat of arrest or exile. The feudal hierarchy dictated who could walk and when, its rules a cage for the commoner. Lords and their knights, safe in manors or riding horses by day, rarely ventured out, their status sparing them the night's perils. A noble's journey, 5 miles on horseback in an hour, was swift, while your walk, taking 2 hours, was a slog through mud and fear. Peasants, tied to the land, faced curfews enforced by the Lord's men. A 1-mile walk to a neighbor's hut in 30 minutes, drawing a bailiff's glare if unauthorized. Merchants, though freer, were suspect. Their nighttime travels, a 10-mile trade route in 5 hours, seen as dodging taxes, their goods searched at town gates. The church, preaching vigilance against sin, viewed night walkers as morally suspect, their sermons casting you as a rogue for daring the dark, your steps a rebellion against order. Gender amplified these restrictions, making nighttime walks especially perilous for women. Men, whether peasants or merchants, could justify a night's journey, a 3-mile trek to a mill in 90 minutes, though not without risk of punishment. Women, however, were confined by stricter norms. Their daytime walks to wells or churches, a half-mile in 10 minutes, deemed proper, but nighttime travel was scandalous. A woman walking alone to a kin's hut 2 miles away in an hour risked accusations of impropriety or worse, her presence in the dark linked to witchcraft or vice. You've heard of women shunned for such journeys, their reputations ruined, their steps hurried to avoid village gossip. Even escorted, a woman's 5-mile pilgrimage at night taking 3 hours drew whispers, her cloak no shield against judgment. Outcasts were the most likely to walk alone at night, their status forcing them into the shadows. Lepers, banished to the village's edge, walked to beg alms or seek healers, a 1-mile trek taking 30 minutes in the dark, their bells jingling to warn others, their steps haunted by fear of attack. Beggars roaming between villages travelled at night to avoid harassment, a 3-mile journey to a barn taking 2 hours, their rags offering little warmth. Prostitutes, working in towns, slipped through alleys, a half-mile walk in 15 minutes, dodging watchmen or clients turned violent. You've seen these figures, their silhouettes fleeting in the dark, their lives defined by the night's dangers, their walks a desperate bid for survival, each step a defiance of exclusion. Messengers tasked with urgent deliveries were another group braving the night, their missions critical but perilous. A lord's messenger carrying a sealed parchment might walk 5 miles to a manor in 2 hours, the darkness hiding bandits but exposing them to ruts or wolves. You've carried such a message, your heart racing, your staff tapping the path, knowing a delay could mean a lashing. Town criers or guild runners sent with news or goods walked shorter distances, a 1-mile trek through alleys in 30 minutes, but faced cut purses or stray dogs. Their steps, hurried to meet deadlines, were watched by suspicious eyes, their nighttime presence marking them as potential spies or thieves, their journeys a tightrope of duty and danger. Fugitives fleeing justice or debt were the most desperate nightwalkers, their paths driven by fear of capture. A peasant escaping a lord's wrath might walk 10 miles to a free town, a 5-hour trek in the dark, their steps muffled to avoid patrols. You've heard of men hunted by bailiffs, their tracks lost in the night, their families left behind. Outlaws living in forests, moved at night to raid or flee, a 3-mile trek to a hideout taking 2 hours, their knowledge of the land their only shield. Their walks, silent and swift, were a gamble against capture or death, each step a fleeting chance at freedom, the darkness both ally and enemy. The lack of light is the greatest environmental challenge, turning terrain into a trap. Moonlight, when present, offers faint guidance, but clouds or dense forests plunge you into blindness. A 1-mile walk, 20 minutes by day, takes 40 without light, your staff probing for obstacles, your eyes useless. Torches, rare and costly, burn for an hour, their dim glow barely reaching 10 paces, their smoke stinging your eyes. You've carried one, its pitch dripping, its light drawing attention from unseen threats. Without it, you rely on touch, your hands grazing trees or walls, each step a risk of tripping or straying. A half-mile alley walk, 10 minutes by day, takes 20 in total darkness, your heart pounding as you navigate the unseen. Defenses against these hazards are limited, your resources scarce. A staff helps you test the ground, its tip seeking ruts or stones, but it's no match for a hidden ditch or icy patch. A torch, if you can afford one, lights a small radius, but its weight slows you, and its flame risks burning out in wind or rain. You've tied rags to your shoes for grip, their thin layer slipping on ice, your steps cautious but unsteady. Travelling by moonlight is safer, but clouds or new moons force you to wait, a 1-mile trek delayed hours or days. You've learned to memorize landmarks, a gnarled tree, a bent signpost, but darkness hides them, leaving you to guess your path, your survival hinging on instinct and luck. The feudal system exacerbates these dangers, offering little aid. Lords, safe in manners, maintain no paths for nighttime travel, their focus on taxes, not safety. Village watchmen, if they exist, patrol main roads, leaving rural paths unguarded, a 3-mile trek unprotected. Peasants, bound by curfews, risk punishment for walking at night, a 1-mile errand to a mill drawing a fine or lash. Merchants with more freedom still face tolls on bridges, their nighttime walks to avoid fees marked as suspicious. You've skirted a watchman's lantern, your steps muffled, knowing the Lord's men care for their own safety, not yours, leaving you to face the night's terrain alone. The sensory world is a relentless assault, each hazard tied to a sensation. The air smells of wet earth and frost, tinged with the faint rot of a nearby stream. Sounds pierce the silence, a branch snapping, water rushing, or wind howling, each a warning of danger or disorientation. Your cloak, heavy with rain or dew, chafes your shoulders, your hands gripping a staff, their skin cracked from cold. The path, unseen, jars your feet, its mud or ice a constant threat. Hunger gnaws, your rations gone, the night's chill or heat sapping your strength. The sky, starless or fog-shrouded, offers no guide, each step a plunge into the unknown, each scent or sound a clue to survival. The fragility of this journey is stark, each hazard a threat to life. A twisted ankle on a rut, a fall into a river, or exposure to cold can end you, your body left in the dark, your kin unaware. You've heard of travelers lost to fog or ice, their goods ruined, their graves unmarked. Fever from a chill or injury from a fall strikes swiftly with no shelter nearby. Yet necessity drives you, your steps a defiance of the night's terrain and elements, your heart set on your goal. The village, a distant hope, waits, its people bound by the same fears, their lives shaped by the night's unforgiving landscape. The night deepens and you press on, the path a shadow, the air thick with fog or frost, the terrain, ruts, rivers, hills, and environmental hazards, rain, cold, fog, make each step a trial, the darkness a veil that hides every danger. Your staff, your only guide, taps the earth, your courage, the true light. For now, you walk, the village's faint warmth calling, your life a measure of steps in a world where the night's terrain is as deadly as any beast or blade. The moon, shrouded by clouds, casts a feeble glow over the 14th century European village, its faint light barely tracing the dirt path you tread, your cloak heavy with the night's damp chill. It's around 1350, and as a peasant, merchant, or wayfarer you've faced the night's terrors, bandits, wolves, and treacherous terrain, each step a defiance of the darkness's dangers. Now, as you move cautiously toward a distant hut or town, the weight of social stigma and feudal restrictions presses as heavily as the unseen ruts beneath your feet. The air carries the scent of wet straw and distant fires, but the night's silence is broken by your own wary footsteps, each one a risk not just of physical harm, but of societal judgment. This segment explores the cultural and social barriers that governed nighttime travel, revealing who dared to walk alone, outcasts, messengers, or fugitives, and the suspicion or punishment they faced, painting a world where the night's dangers were as much about status and scrutiny as about the path itself. The social stigma of nighttime walking was a heavy burden, its weight as real as the path's mud. Villages and towns, tightly knit, viewed nightwalkers as threats to order, their presence a spark for gossip or accusation. A peasant walking to a healer a mile away in 30 minutes might be stopped by a watchman, their sack searched, their purpose questioned. A merchant slipping through a town gate at night, a half-mile in 15 minutes, faced suspicion of smuggling, their goods confiscated if a guard was bribed. You felt the village's eyes, your steps quickened to avoid whispers, your honest errand tainted by the night's reputation as a time for sin or crime. Punishment for unauthorized nighttime travel was swift and harsh, reinforcing feudal control. A peasant caught walking without leave, a 2-mile trek to a market in an hour, faced a fine of grain or coin, a burden that could starve a family. Repeated offences brought flogging or the stocks, your shame public, your body bruised. Merchants caught dodging tolls at night, a 5-mile journey in 3 hours, risked seizure of goods or imprisonment, their trade ruined. Fugitives, if caught, faced hanging or mutilation, their nighttime walks a desperate bid for life. You've seen neighbours shamed, their nighttime errands exposed, their lives harder for daring the dark, the Lord's justice a shadow as dark as the night itself. The Church amplified this stigma, its teachings casting the night as a domain of evil. Priests, preaching from pulpits, linked darkness to sin, warning that honest folk stayed by hearths after dusk. A pilgrim walking at night, a 10-mile trek in 5 hours, might claim devotion, but the Church eyed them warily, their permits scrutinized, their faith questioned. Women especially bore this weight, their nighttime walks, a 1-mile errand in 30 minutes, linked to witchcraft or immorality, their trials swift and brutal. You've heard sermons condemning night walkers, their words a chill in your spine, your steps cautious to avoid the Church's wrath, its power as binding as the Lord's. The sensory world of these walks is a vivid gauntlet, each step shaped by stigma and restriction. The air smells of damp earth and distant smoke, its chill biting through your cloak, heavy with dew. Sounds pierce the silence, a dog's bark, a shutter's creak, a watchman's call, each a warning of scrutiny or danger. Your shoes, worn leather or clogs, crunch on gravel or slip in mud, their soles thin against stones. Your hands grip a staff or sack, their skin cracked from cold, your heart racing at every shadow. Hunger gnaws, your bread eaten, the night's weight sapping your strength. The sky, starless or faintly lit, hides the path, each step a risk of judgment or capture, each sound a clue to safety or peril. The fragility of these walks is stark, each journey a gamble with reputation and life. A false step, caught by a watchman, accused by a neighbour, can ruin you, your family shunned, your goods lost. You've heard of women branded witches, men jailed as thieves, their nighttime walks their downfall. Illness or injury, worsened by the night's cold, strikes without warning, with no aid nearby. Yet duty or desperation drives you, your steps a defiance of stigma, your heart set on your goal. The village, silent under the stars, waits, its people bound by the same fears, their lives shaped by the night's unforgiving rules. The night presses on, and you move forward, the path a shadow, the village's faint lights a distant hope. The social stigma and feudal restrictions, class, gender, suspicion, make each step a trial, the weight of judgment as heavy as the darkness. Your walks, as outcast, messenger or fugitive, are a testament to courage, each one a rebellion against the night's constraints. For now, you walk, the air cold, the path uncertain, your life a measure of steps in a world where the night's dangers are as much about who you are as where you go. The stars glitter faintly above the 14th century European village, their light a fragile guide as you near the edge of a dirt path, the faint glow of hearth fires beckoning from huddled huts. It's around 1350, and as a peasant, merchant, or wayfarer, you've braved the night's perils, bandits lurking in shadows, wolves prowling forests, treacherous terrain, and the weight of social stigma, each step a testament to courage or desperation. The air is crisp, scented with dew-soaked grass and distant wood smoke, the path beneath your worn shoes softening as you approach home. This final segment reflects on the lasting impact of these nighttime dangers on medieval society, connecting the fears and resilience of those who walked alone to modern concerns for safety in urban and rural settings. As we close this tale, we honor the bravery of those who faced the dark, their legacy a quiet echo in every cautious step we take today, guiding us to a gentle, reflective end under the medieval night's watchful stars. The dangers of walking alone at night shaped medieval society, weaving caution into its fabric. For peasants, a 1-mile trek to a healer's hut, 30 minutes in the dark was a gamble against bandits or ruts, their lives bound by fear of the unseen. This fear kept villages tight-knit, neighbors huddling by hearths, their doors barred after dusk, the community strengthened by shared dread. Merchants, walking 5 miles to a town in 2 hours, fueled trade but avoided night travel when possible, their caution slowing commerce, markets closing at sunset to keep traders safe. Wayfarers, messengers or fugitives, carried news or fled justice on 10-mile treks taking 5 hours, their solitary journeys binding distant towns, yet their risks reinforced the night's reputation as a time for rogues. These walks, driven by necessity, cemented a culture of vigilance, each step a reminder that safety lay in numbers or daylight. Community bonds, fragile yet vital, grew from this shared caution. Villages, spaced 5 miles apart, relied on daytime walks, a 2-mile trip to a mill in 40 minutes, for trade or aid. But at night, these paths were shunned, neighbors refusing to open doors for fear of thieves. You've knocked on a hut, your plea for shelter unanswered, the night's dangers making trust scarce. In towns, taverns closed early, their patrons wary of a half-mile walk home in 15 minutes, the alleys hiding cut purses. Pilgrims, though revered, walked in groups for safety, their 10-mile treks in 5 hours strengthened by shared prayers, their bonds a shield against the dark. This caution knit communities closer, but also isolated them, each village a fortress against the night's threats, its people bound by fear as much as fellowship. The economy felt the night's impact, its dangers slowing trade and labor. Markets, thriving by day, shut at dusk, a 3-mile walk in an hour cut short to avoid robbery. Merchants carrying cloth or coin planned routes for daylight, their 5-mile journeys in 2 hours safer but less frequent, stunting trade to distant towns. Peasants laboring in fields a mile away in 20 minutes worked only by day, their nighttime curfews enforced by lords, limiting productivity. Messengers, vital for news, risked 10-mile treks in 5 hours, but their losses to bandits or terrain cost villages information and goods. You've carried grain to a market, your sack lighter after a toll, knowing the night's closure of trade routes kept prices high, the economy tethered to the sun's arc. The physical toll of nighttime walking marked bodies and minds, its dangers a constant strain. A 2-mile trek to a neighbor's hut, an hour in the dark, left your feet blistered, your shoes worn by unseen stones. Bandits or wolves could end you, a 5-mile journey in 3 hours halted by a knife or jaws, your body left unburied. Cold or rain, soaking your cloak, brought fever, a 1-mile walk in 30 minutes risking illness with no healer nearby. You've limped home, your hands numb, your heart heavy with the fear of not returning. This toll bred resilience, your legs toughened by necessity, your mind sharpened by vigilance, but also fear. Each night walk a scar on your spirit, a reminder of the dark's power. Culturally, the night was a symbol of danger, its walkers marked as outsiders. Peasants walking a mile to a church in 30 minutes were honest by day but suspect at night, their steps linked to crime or sin. Merchants slipping through a town gate in 15 minutes were seen as smugglers, their goods scrutinized. Fugitives fleeing on 10-mile treks in 5 hours embodied the night's lawlessness, their stories fueling tales of rebellion or doom. The church, preaching against the dark, cast nightwalkers as sinners, a woman's 1-mile errand in 30 minutes hinting at witchcraft. You felt this stigma, your steps hurried to avoid a priest's glare, your purpose questioned, the night's cultural weight as heavy as its physical dangers. The feudal system reinforced these dangers, its structure leaving walkers vulnerable. Lords, safe in manners, offered no patrols, their men guarding wealth, not paths. A 3-mile trek to a village, 2 hours at night, was unguarded. Bandits or boars a constant threat. Watchmen in towns, corrupt or lazy, ignored alleys, a half-mile walk in 15 minutes, a gauntlet of risk. Peasants bound by curfews faced fines for a 1-mile errand, their poverty a chain to the night's dangers. Merchants paid tolls, their 5-mile journeys costlier in the dark, their profits eaten by fees or theft. You've evaded a bailiff's lantern, your steps silent, knowing the system favored the powerful, leaving you to face the night alone. Modern parallels echo these medieval fears, our safety concerns rooted in their struggles. Urban streets lit by lamps still harbour danger, a half-mile walk home from a bar in 10 minutes shadowed by muggers, much like medieval cut-purses. Rural paths, now paved, remain isolated, a 2-mile hike in 40 minutes risking assault or accidents, echoing the wolves or bandits of old. We lock doors, avoid dark alleys, and travel in groups, our caution a legacy of your vigilance. Technology, streetlights, phones, or GPS eases our fears, but the instinct to wary of the dark persists. Your nighttime treks a reminder of human vulnerability, our steps guided by the same need for safety. Sustainable travel, a modern ideal, mirrors your necessity-driven walks. You carried bread for a 5-mile trek, rationing it over hours, your thrift a lesson in resourcefulness. Today we walk or bike to reduce emissions, our 1-mile trips in 20 minutes a nod to your endurance. Though our paths are smoother, our dangers fewer. Your resilience, walking through rain or cold, a 3-mile journey in 2 hours, inspires us to face challenges, whether urban sprawl or climate change. Community initiatives like night watch programs or safe routes echo your village bonds, our shared spaces strengthened by collective care, your legacy a call to protect the vulnerable in our own dark corners. The courage of medieval night walkers, though rarely recorded, was profound. You, the peasant risking a fine for a 1-mile errand, the merchant dodging bandits on a 5-mile trek, or the fugitive fleeing on a 10-mile journey, faced the dark with little but a staff and will. Your steps, through mud or shadow, carried families, trade, and news, each one a defiance of fear. History names lords or kings, but your walks, uncelebrated, wove the fabric of society, your resilience a quiet fire that lit the way for others. We honor you, the nameless who braved the night, your courage a spark in our own steps, your legacy a reminder to face the unknown with grit and hope. These nighttime dangers left a lasting mark, shaping a society that valued light and company. Your walks, whether a half-mile through an alley or 10 miles to a distant town, taught caution, binding villages in shared fear, driving trade to daylight and fueling tales of bravery or loss. The church's warnings, the Lord's curfews, and the night's perils made every step a story, your life a tapestry of risk and resolve. Today, we walk safer paths, but your fears linger in our locked doors, our wary glances, our need for light. Your legacy is the strength to move forward, the knowledge that danger, though ever present, can be met with courage, each step a victory over the dark. As the village's lights grow closer, the path softens under your feet, the night's chill easing as you near the hearth's warmth. The dangers of walking alone, bandits, wolves, terrain, stigma, made each journey a trial, your courage a flame against the dark. Your steps, driven by duty or desperation, wove communities, fueled trade, and defied fear, their echo a lesson in resilience. Let the weight of those nights lift now, your story told, your bravery honored. Rest in the glow of home, the stars above a witness to your triumph, your life a measure of steps that carried a world forward, their quiet strength guiding us gently into the peace of dawn's embrace.